Hey, what's up? I'm Yusuf. It's nice to meet you. If this is your first time meeting me, coming to my channel, I'm an entrepreneur and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old. In this video, I'm going to be going over my entrepreneurial journey and introducing myself, and I'm going to be letting you know about the 7-figure cleaning business that I'm running. I'm going to give you the story of how it started. I started it during my senior year in college. I was let go from my job and I knew I needed something to do before I graduated. So I started a cleaning business. Like who thinks they're gonna start a cleaning business? But I wanna tell you my story, and I want you to I want you to subscribe, and watch the video all the way through, and then leave a comment, ask anything that you wanna know. It's nice to meet you, and let me welcome you to my world. Peace. All right, guys, what's up? Let's get into it. My name is Yusuf, and I'm the owner of Refreshco Cleaning Services. And I want to give you guys my story of how I started a 6-figure cleaning business and how I got into the cleaning industry. Because it wasn't by me just wanting to start a cleaning company. It was out of a little bit of desperation and a little bit of wanting to be an entrepreneur and learn how to run a company. And I just so happened to get into the cleaning industry. But first, I want to give you guys a little bit of history of my entrepreneurship. So, truthfully, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old. My first business was when I was in middle school. I had a pop and candy operation out of my locker. I would sell pops for $1 right before lunch, right before class. I would leave early out of class to go set up and sell pops for $1. I would buy a case of pops for $12, sell them for $1. A case of pop, I would get 12 pops, and it'd be like $4. I would sell them for $1 a piece, 12, and I'd make the spread. And I remember I made maybe about $100 in about a week until I got shut down. So that was my first operation. And then after that, I'm around high school, I get into sneaker reselling. And throughout high school, I didn't really have money. My dad would buy me, some Jordans here and there, and I would save them and keep them dead stock, which means, I never wore them, just so I can stack up enough to sell. And then fast forward, I'm going to start really in college, which is where my entrepreneurial journey started, and I really started to make money. I sold sneakers throughout college, and that's how I paid to go to Morehouse. I paid to live. I would get these things called refund checks, and I would invest those and use that as my seed capital to buy more shoes and flip them. So as you see in these two pictures, I was going to events and I would be spending about 5 to 10 grand at different events, racking up inventory, and I would travel to different states to buy shoes. I would go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Vegas, LA. I went to New York. I would just travel around, where sneakers were at. Go to Sneaker Con Chicago, and I would buy shoes and ship them wherever I was, or I would put them in the load up the cars and take them to whatever city I was in at the time. And that's pretty much how I survived throughout college, with sneaker reselling. And that led me to my next venture, was actually starting my own event. So I'm going to all these other people's events. I'm like, I might as well start my own event. And that's what I did. So I approached my school and pitched them the idea of starting a sneaker event. And they were most definitely on board. And they felt, I'm the kid around campus that sells the shoes. So why not him? So I started an event called Atlanta Kick House. And it was going well. This was a buy, sell, trade event. So I would reach out to different vendors. They would pay to be a vendor. And then we would have people come and, they'll pay a couple dollars to get into the door, and they would buy, sell, and trade amongst each other. And the event was actually starting to bubble up. First event, we had maybe 25 vendors and maybe about 100 people came. We had a vintage event where we had a room full of vintage sellers, and it was called the Junkyard, and they would pay to be a vendor, and people would come and buy from them. And we had about 3 Atlanta kick houses while I was actually on campus at school, until COVID shut us down. And it was starting to really bubble up because I know sneaker events, I know the sneaker industry from being a reseller, and so you know I had that rolling. But then COVID, after kind of the world opened back up, we weren't allowed back on campus just yet. So I didn't really keep Atlanta Kickhouse at the forefront because it was just something cool to really do. I didn't really have any aspirations of like really making this big because it was kind of just for my college. But I mean, hey, Atlanta Kickhouse actually is still running, so helping the other students get it going. And so there's still chances that Atlanta Kickhouse can become something bigger. But this was just at that time that I was doing. I was running Atlanta Kickhouse. This is when I was a sophomore in college. And so, fast forward, now it's summertime. I'm interning at a big consulting firm here in Atlanta. It's called Accenture. And the goal for that, being in college, being at HBCU, and being in a finance department, the goal was to, get a big internship and work at that company when you graduate, or, hop to another company. And so the goal was to work there. And I knew that I was interested in entrepreneurship, but everyone around you, they're into like, oh, we're going to work at JP Morgan Chase. I'm going to work at McKinsey. I had an opportunity to work at Accenture. And so that was the goal. I did want to be an entrepreneur, but I was really thrusted into like actually going after that dream that I had of being an entrepreneur when I was let go from Accenture into going into my senior year. I had interned there about two summers. So, you would think like I'm in with them, but I wasn't. And that was okay. But at that point, I faced a crossroad. It was either I spend my senior year looking for a job or I go all in on something. So, I mean, you guys know which one I chose. So it was funny enough around this time, I had seen a lady. She was walking out of my building. She was a cleaning lady. And something said to me, like, go and talk to her. And I said either I'm going to talk to her or I'm going to keep on going. So I said, you know what? I pulled up beside her, let down the window. And, we just had a quick conversation. I got her information. I called her later. And ever since that day, I was in the cleaning business. And I remember I set up my company. I already had the name for the company. Just to give you some backstory on that, during COVID, me and one of my buddies, Aaron, we used to have these brainstorming sessions where we'll come up with different ideas, or, I most definitely would have him help me come up with different ideas because he's such a great thinker. And we came up with the name Refreshco. I run it by him like, yo, what do you think about this? And he would let me know if it was fresh or not. And we had that idea for Refreshco back when COVID first started, and it was just an idea back then. But after seeing the cleaning lady, something told me talk to her, and I got the company set up. I set up Refreshco, and we already had the name, and so this was me during my senior year. These were my graduation pictures with Refreshco because that's what I was doing. But the thing about talking to that lady, being let go from Accenture, was that this was like the start to my hero's journey. So I'm about like right here in this story. And it was interesting because, everyone around me, they're going to work at these different companies. They're going to grad school. I'm starting a cleaning company. And who would think that? But this is where I'm at. And I mean, I like to listen to signs. I like to, if I feel something like is calling me to do it, then that's just what it is. So I did it. And I would say, I mean, I'm glad I did it. And I'll tell you guys why. But this is where I'm at in the journey. So I'm embarking on how to build a cleaning business now. So I'm doing hella research, learning about cleaning products, how to have a booking system. And it's fairly easy to put together a cleaning company. You think you know what to do. I knew I needed a website. I needed people to be able to book and all this other stuff. And I pretty much had it figured out. But it's like, as I'm learning, I actually stumble across this Reddit thread. And on this Reddit thread, it's about a guy named Rohan. And Rohan is an entrepreneur. And this Reddit thread was from years ago, like 2011, I think. And this was what, like 2020. And Rohan is building a remote cleaning business. So a cleaning business, and he is in another state, and the business is in another state. And he talks about how he built that business. And it was funny enough, as I read it, a lot of the things I already did, but Rohan, he helped with a lot of few things that I didn't really know how to do, as far as like finding people and marketing the biz. I was kind of like new to that, but like having the website, having the booking form and stuff, I already had that all set up. That was fairly easy to do. So, I found out that information, and that Reddit thread kind of like pushed me into learning about Facebook groups where there's actually like a pretty nice sized community of people who have cleaning businesses out there. And so, I'm on the journey now. I'm in college. This is like September, my senior year. So I'm in school, taking classes, having fun with my friends, because we're all kind of at home still, so we can do what we want. And then I'm building this cleaning company on the side. So now we're like in chapter 3 of this journey. Like I said, I'm building the business, taking classes, but it's slow. Like we're not getting much business, but around this time, I get my first customer. My first customer was actually there's a company here that makes T-shirts called Zeus's Closet here in Atlanta. Shout out Zeus's Closet, Mrs. Monica, Mr. Ethan. I went to get some shirts made for Refresh Co. so I can rep the brand everywhere that I went. And they gave me the opportunity. They said, "Oh, can you clean this space? We have an event space next door." And I picked them up. That was my first customer. And this was the opportunity where I was able to hire my first cleaner, and I failed. So I hired a cleaner. Give you guys a story of our first appointment for Mrs. Monica in her event space. So we booked the cleaning. It's for about like $100 and some dollars, $150, I think. We get there. I hire a cleaner that I believe I met off Facebook. Cleaners, saying she's good to go. So I get there super early. I buy cleaning supplies just in case. Like, I had that feeling like something may not happen. We're at the cleaning. I'm in the parking lot over, so I can see her pull in. She says, like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to pull in." And she says, "Oh yeah, I'm here." And then she says, "Oh, my sister got into an accident." So, I see that she was never there because I was there, I was watching, but I ended up doing that job myself, and I never heard from that cleaner again. Like, I don't even know if they were okay from the accident. But, my first customer, Mrs. Monica and Mr. Ethan, they brought in around $600 a month for the business. I was happy. Of course, we had still a lot of work to do, but they were my first customers, and they kind of like got the ball rolling. Now, we didn't have an influx of business, but I kept learning. I kept promoting the business. And then I met a lady named Terry. This is Terry. I met Terry. She was actually another cleaner that was in my building. I met her and I asked her if she wanted to work for me in our company because, I for sure talked about Refresh Co. like it was huge. And, she kind of was like, haha, it was like, yeah, take my number down. And then she said, "You're pretty new to this, but I have a lot to teach you." Now, Terry wasn't necessarily the business owner, but she was a cleaner. So she had a different perspective, and she really taught me a lot. And I'm very grateful that I met Terry. And even though she didn't work for us, the things that she taught me, honestly, like we still are doing today to like help the business stay afloat. So Terry gave me the perspective of her being a cleaner, how they operated as cleaners, how she kept business, how she stayed cleaning. So personally, I wasn't the one looking to do the cleaning, but hearing her perspective helped. So she told me, "I'll teach you how to clean." So she taught me how to professionally clean. And Terry's from Brazil. So if you don't know, Brazilians have a very unique cleaning style. A lot of people, Brazil, they do a lot of cleaning. And so Terry, she taught me a lot of that. And funny enough, I actually took Portuguese in at university. So, me falo português, me falo português em universidade. So that brought us a little bit closer because I knew a little bit of Portuguese from taking it in college. And I actually knew a lot about Brazilian culture because Portuguese, they speak Portuguese in Brazil, and Brazil actually has one of the second largest Black populations. And so I was pretty familiar. Me and Terry, we were able to connect. And after she knew that I could speak a little bit of Portuguese, and we sat down, we had dinner, and she gave me the rundown, like how the cleaning business works from this other world perspective. And I got roped in a lot of different communities after that day, which helped us never to have issues with finding workers. I can literally put out a bolo like, hey, who wants work? And I'm getting people calling me constantly to want work, like people from a lot of different communities, all because I met Terry. So Terry was super important on my journey. And she didn't end up really working with us because Terry actually wanted to do her own thing. So she has a radio station, and she was a model. So cleaning was just for her to make some money, but her information was really helpful. So thank you, Terry. I may reach out to her after this. But going in, like, now we're at this phase. It's a second semester. I'm getting ready to graduate. I'm still soaking up information from Facebook groups, YouTube, and now we slowly start to get more clients. I got cleaners working with me, and the month of April, right before I graduated, is when things really kicked off for me in the company. This is when, truthfully, we had the breakthrough. This was actually the start when business really got rolling for us. So I consider this to be the year, like the month business really started, because from April of 2021 to April 2022 is when we did six figures in the business. And so in April, the business, we had 10 customers that month. And then after that, it was like a trickle effect. It was like 10 customers, 20 customers, 30 customers, 40 customers, 40 customers, 50 customers, 60 customers, 60, 70. And things really just started rolling after that April. And I was all in on the business. So I didn't go get a job from that April. Once I graduated, during my graduation, I'm still running the business. I'm not chilling. My family, my friends are in town. I'm still running the business, making sure the job's going good. In that May, I didn't get a job. Like, I went all in because those 10 customers, like, that was about $3,000 in revenue. After that, we're doing about 5K. After that, I do about 8K. And sometimes I did cleanings myself because I'm like, I'm not gonna miss out on this money. I'm not just gonna let it fall through the cracks. We would have cleaners fall out on us, cleaners don't show up. But I was all in on the business, and I just want to give you guys a snapshot here. Like, from April 2021 to end of April 2022, like, we did around 106K gross, $102,000 after Stripe took their fees. And think about this: right after you graduate, you don't really know if you made the right decision, but your business does 100K. Now, of course, in that 100K, there was a lot of mistakes made. And there's a lot of mistakes that I'm going to talk about more, and I have plenty of stories to give you guys. But that was honestly like a break point mentally, because you got a little bit of confirmation that maybe I'm doing the right thing. I can't say if running a cleaning business is the exact thing that you need to do, but the fact that, okay, I decide not to go get a consistent check, but I run this business that brings in over 100K, and really the first year of business, like, not when I'm still in school and I have a roommate and school still supports you, school sending you COVID relief checks, things like that. This is when, like, I'm fully in the world. The first year I'm hustling and bustling, and this is what the business does. And I'm not even knowing what I'm doing. It was like a flywheel. All of the work that I did during my senior year, even though we're having like one job a month, two jobs a month, three customers, all that compounded into the month where I got 10 customers. And from there, pretty much like you have a business, like you have a book of business and you're rolling. And so I was all in, and I could tell you like that feels very sweet. And you think that you know exactly what you're doing, but I mean, there's still a lot to learn. But I reached that first milestone that I think any entrepreneur really wants to meet, which is at going from 0 to 10K per month. So this is around a little bit under 10K, but pretty much this was around a 10K business. There were months where we were hitting 10K out of this. Months we were hitting like 12K, and then it'll dip a little bit as you see the graph. But this was sweet. And I can tell you that it felt like a really good decision, and it was nerve wracking, but I did it. And so from here, what I did was everything I tried to do was to keep it simple. So if you're looking to start a business, whether you want to start a cleaning business, a clothing business, or whatever, is to keep doing the simple things. So promoting your business, passing out flyers, talking about your business, making content, researching, learning what other people are doing, seeing how you can apply that to your business. Those are the simple things. I didn't do anything super crazy to get to 6 figures during that time. It was literally just posting, talking to people in Facebook groups. It was such simple things that really helped. And that's the story of how I built a 6-figure cleaning business. And of course, there's more stories to tell you. Now I have to tell you how I went from 10K to 20K, because that's a whole nother journey, and the different people that I've met and the different things that I had to do. But this is the start to it. And so that's my story. And I hope that, you enjoyed this and it gave you a little bit of inspiration, because I want you to know that if you want to start a cleaning business, that you can start a cleaning business and you can get to 6 figures faster than I can. If you want to start a clothing brand, you can do it and you can get to 6 figures. You can get your brand out there fast, especially with today's technology. I just want you to know that you could do it. I want to see people win. So this is the video. If you watched it all the way through, you can do this, and I want you to. We could talk. So I want you to like, subscribe, and ask me any questions that you have in the comments. I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk about my journey. I love talking about entrepreneurship. I love talking about ideas, so we could chit chat. And then, if you do want to start a cleaning business, I want you to join our Facebook group. So I'm going to have the link in the description. I want you to join our group. We're going to be talking about cleaning business, connecting, talking about how to get customers, talking about just a bunch of different things that will help you on your road to getting the 6 figures if you're just starting out. And then also talking about getting to like those 7 figures, which is the journey that we're on now. So if you stayed to the end, I want to say thank you. It's my first video, but we're going to keep pumping these videos out. Next, we're going to start talking more about how to build your cleaning business and just talking about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Peace.